a blackout on the fact that the majority of the world, and actually the majority of this country, does not want to see this war continue. And so that's why we are here in the rain, and we will be here in the snow, and we will be here in the ice, and then we'll be here as long as we need to be, because we are not just fighting for a pause, we are not fighting just for a ceasefire, we are fighting for an end to the occupation and an end to all U.S.-backed and U.S.-driven wars across the world.
Well, I can't tell you how depressing it is to have the whole world watching genocide on their televisions, and still we haven't been able to stop the Zionist terror attack against the people of the entire population of Gaza.
What do you make of these politicians who continue their support for Israel despite how many innocent Palestinians have been killed?
Well, I understand that it's really their fear. A lot of them are afraid that they won't get reelected because of the power of Zionist money in our electoral system, especially in the House of Representatives, where they have to run every 2 years. So the Democrats should be opposing this war as they used to oppose war, but they're too cowardly to risk their career by taking the step of saying no to Zionist genocide against the people of Gaza. It's clear that what Israel wants to do is make the second Nakba, to make the people of Gaza go away so they can take their land. That's what's going on. There's no other explanation for this massive devastation of the civilian population.
5, 6, 7, 8.
We are against the imperialist ruling class of the United States, and we charge them with genocide. They are the war criminals. Blinken is a war criminal. Biden is a war criminal. Hillary Clinton is a war criminal. Obama, as black as he is a war criminal. Because the ruling class has only one reason of existence, and that's profit. They profit off war. And the only reason Israel exists is for the interest of the United States of America. You're a liar! We demand a ceasefire! We demand a ceasefire! We demand a ceasefire! We demand a ceasefire! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Gaza! 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 Gaza!
You want to tell me why you came out today?
Hello. Well, they're committing genocide on the people of Gaza again after I don't even know how long it's been, since over months. There are tens of thousands who've died, and they're attacking the hospitals, they're attacking the schools, and the people don't have any food, people don't have a water supply, the sewage is backed up, and this is all because Israel continued to bomb and the United States continues to fund them. And I'm banging my head against the wall, trying to contact all my Congress people and Biden and everyone else. They won't budge. They will not budge. They're so bought in. And it's so horrific. It's so dangerous for our future. I'm really, really horrified.
What do you think about all these politicians who continue their support for Israel despite how many innocent Palestinians have been killed?
Well, it's corrupt as anything. We have a very corrupt system. We have money buys politicians, and we need to turn it around completely. It's terrible. Having a two-party system is terrible. We really need to get rid of that. No one seems I thought if we had ranked choice voting in the federal election, maybe we could do something, but I don't know how we do it. So all we can do is build mass movements and protests and get out of here.
We are here to fight for those martyrs, but to also fight for the living and the liberation of the living. We fight for those who have gone and those who are still with us, and we fight for the future, and we fight for the present. We fight for our own souls. Because if we abandon Palestine, then we have to abandon our own selves.
What do you think about these politicians who continue their support for Israel?
It's not surprising. They're supporting the white colonial state, that they want to be a worldwide thing. I mean, this imperialism has been going on since before we were born. So they're just continuing the legacy of the settler colonial mentality, So right now it's in the form of Zionism. Before it's in the form of manifest destiny. The sun never sets on the British Empire. You could pick any moment in history and you'll find this same thing. It's unfortunate that people aren't educated, so when these things happen and spur up, they don't know who to believe. They don't know what's what, But this shit has been going on forever. Yeah.
Besides the ceasefire, what else would you think that would bring peace in the region?
Well, reparations, justice, a lot of politicians in jail, if you believe in prison, then we should send the people who really need to be there to prison, But we, they need their land back. The Palestinians need their land back. You need all imperialist forces out of the region, and that goes for everywhere, from Congo to Palestine to Haiti, it's all connected, it's all a robbery of resource and a spreading of just a false doctrine of white supremacy, so it's going to take a lot of education and a lot of reparation to undo it and reverse it, but that's where it's at.
We're here because thousands of people here in New York City have come to the streets in opposition to the resumed fighting, the war, the killing spree by the Israeli government against the people of Gaza. Because the Biden administration and the government and the New York Times and the media are echo chambers for Israeli propaganda. That's why we're here. That's why people are angry.
What did you think at the start of the truce when they announced the agreement? Did you have any hope that it would hold up for longer?
I think people around the world were hopeful, not because there was a real reason that the Biden administration or Netanyahu would step away from genocide, but of course there was hope. There was hope that maybe the killing would stop. But here we are 4 days later. Netanyahu can't win. They can't defeat Hamas. The UN says it's illegal because it is illegal. But the U.S. Congress, the presidents from both parties, they give Israel a blank check because Israel's doing the bidding of the U.S. empire in the Middle East.
Is there anything else you would like to include?
We have to stay in the streets, keep marching. The only thing that's going to make a difference is the people of the world standing up and saying no to genocide.
So tell me, why'd you bring flowers here today to the protest?
These flowers are actually from some students in Brooklyn. I just gave a teach-in on Palestine to a group of young people at a high school. And they gave me the flowers afterwards, which was very nice and goes to show the appreciation that a lot of young people have for hearing the true side of the story. So I'm a professor over at the CUNY system. So,
talk to me. How is it being a professor in universities where, if you speak out, criticize Israel, you risk getting suspended or getting in trouble somehow? Censorship. Talk to me about that.
Hey man, they can't suspend us all. And so what we're doing now within CUNY and within the university system more broadly is trying to get a critical mass. And I think we've reached that now. I don't think they can really suspend us all. And we've got a line where there is a genocide going on, a televised genocide, and the resistance is relevant, credible, and needed. And that as academics, we need to shine the light on this and not be scared of the truth. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's really what we're doing. And I don't think many of us are really that scared anymore. Maybe 5 years ago. But now it's different. Now it's a different situation.
Do you think there are private interest donors that are pro-Israel that are pushing the administrators?
Absolutely. Arms dealers, private interest people. CUNY has very deep relationships with R&D, with weapons research and development. So CUNY has a relationship with that, and this is a public university. Now, when we go into the Ivy League, the MITs, those with larger STEM programs, they have very hard connections with the Israeli military, and they share secrets directly with them. So there is that. And then, of course, there's cultural connections, academic connections, as you mentioned. And we need to cut them. We need to sever them. Because all of the universities in Gaza are rubble at the moment. We can't accept a country that does that to tertiary education and engage in them on that level. It's rank hypocrisy. It stinks. To be honest, it stinks.
And what do you think about these politicians? Americans all over the country are calling for a ceasefire and calling for it to end, but the politicians continue their support for Israel.
Well, you hit the nail on the head with the monetary interests, right? A lot of these politicians get a lot of funding from PACs that are either related to Israel's interests or actual PACs that promote Israel's interests, so IPAC, obviously. So really, we need to build sort of alternative, pillars of power globally, because this is a global network. I will be at pains to add that I'm not saying this is a cabal. This is a dictatorship of vested interests that includes people across ethnicities, across religions, or whatever. And so we need to build just something alternative, which is built on class power, interracial solidarity, and decolonial resistance.
One more question. We just had this 5-day, 6-day truce. Did you have any hope at the beginning of when the agreement was announced? Did you have any hope that it would last for longer?
I kind of hoped that what Hezbollah and Hamas had done to the consistency of U.S. interests in the region, that maybe Blinken would say, actually, let's hold it out for a little bit longer, maybe a couple more days. I thought it wouldn't come back as soon as this, but I knew that it was probably going to end because they are hell-bent on ethnically cleansing the whole of the Strip. And they haven't done that yet, thanks to the resistance. And, let's see what happens. Hopefully another ceasefire, more permanent one soon, and a political resolution that takes care of the trauma, the ethnic cleansing, the displacement of the last 75 plus years.
I'm here with the Palestinian Youth Movement, and we're here because we are outraged. We're here because we are outraged with the resuming of genocide on our people in Gaza. In just under 24 hours, the Israeli occupation bombs have already claimed the lives of over 200 of our martyrs. In addition to the 20,000 that have already been martyred, in addition to the 1.7 million who have already been displaced. And we are here because we want our outrage to be known. We are here because we want this United States government to know that New Yorkers of all strands, of all parts of New York City, are here against the blank check that we have given to continuing genocide unfolding in Gaza.
What would you say to these people who come out here celebrating the holidays, shopping, going about business as usual? What would you say to them?
We say that business as usual cannot and should not continue when this government that we live in, this country that we live in, continues to provide billions and billions of dollars to ongoing genocide, to chemical weapons attacks on civilian infrastructure, to the indiscriminate bombings of schools, of hospitals. We say that business as usual should not continue in these circumstances, and that we should all rise together to let it be known that we refuse for business to go on as usual.
I want to talk about the suspending of the organizations in universities and the censorship that we're seeing on social media. What do you think is behind that?
The censorship of organizations across university campuses is a symptom of our economic and political institutions' complete alignment with genocide, with ethnic cleansing, in the name of Zionism. And we see this clash between what we see in student organizations, what we see on the street, what we see among the masses in the West and all over the world, and what lines institutions are forced to hold, what lines institutions hold as far as the ongoing genocide in Gaza.
Is there anything else you would like people to know? I'm live right now. You have an audience. If you would like to share anything with them?
We would like to let it be known that the momentum for the movement of Palestinian liberation must continue. It must never falter. Rain, snow, in any kinds of conditions, we must continue to take to the streets. We must continue to get organized in our workplaces, in our schools, in our neighborhoods, to let it be known that we stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people against genocide.